Hello, I'm Daniela Sioni, a veteran script supervisor and international script supervision coach, and I'm coming to you today from Capoliveri on Isola d'Elba in Italy. And today I want to talk to you about an important aspect of becoming an in-demand script supervisor, the confidence factor. Because we work so closely with the director, stars, DOP, showrunners, and producers, is it possible to have an outstanding career if you are naturally shy or lack confidence? Well, the short answer is yes, but you are going to need to acquire that confidence in time, of course, though it need not be an overbearing confidence, and it certainly should not be a false confidence, as you will get sniffed out immediately. Believe it or not, true confidence is a learnable aspect of our job that comes naturally and grows with time. But you can also do things to get you to that sweet spot of confidence that makes everyone want to work with you faster. But before I tell you more, I want to take you back to 1991. When I entered the industry at the age of 22. Now, if you only know me from my YouTube videos, you might believe that I have always had this level of casual confidence, but nothing could be further from the truth. I was the world's shyest person at the time. I mumbled and I could barely make eye contact with people. And the state of the industry back then also did not help. I was so young and one of the rare female keys, which made it very difficult to immediately foster any kind of respect from my peers, even the kind of basic respect one should expect by virtue of being a key crew member. Back then, I would notice that the always male director, DOP, and first AD team tended to do the dreaded huddle. This is where they would discuss the coverage for the scene we were shooting without including me, literally huddling in a circle like they were a football team. I had to comedically hover and crouch close by just to try to hear what was going on, so I had the information I needed to do my job and ultimately to help them do theirs. After days of this, I got so frustrated that I was pretty much forced to find my voice to speak up to them and say, "You do realize I need to know the coverage as well, and that by huddling like that, you are actively excluding me from the conversation." They were genuinely surprised, at least they pretended to be, and said they did not realize they were doing that, or even that the information would be of any use to me. True story. It seems like common sense that people would understand our role with respect to anything that affects editorial, but in our weekly live Q&As in my program, students report back to me that they sometimes face situations like this on set even today, which I guide them through, of course. In my case, from that day forward, they not only stopped the practice of the secretive huddle to include me in the coverage conversation, the director discussed coverage with me on an ongoing basis throughout the day and would not move on from a scene without my input, especially once they realized it was a language I spoke fluently and could help them troubleshoot. And that began a cycle where both my confidence and abilities as a script supervisor grew organically. It was one of the many incidents in the early part of my career that led me to begin training script supervisors and directors in 1995, so that others could have more clarity on the breadth of our role and also shorten their learning curve to achieve that confidence level faster and therefore be more in demand in the workforce. Now, that's not to say that being forced to be confident and speaking up one day instantly makes you confident. There is much more to it, of course. Confidence in and of itself is a special sauce that makes up the big picture of what I call director whispering, an approach to the work that makes you a valued member of the director's team with the on-set demeanor of casual confidence that I became known for in my own career over the years. Because it's not only about the confidence to speak up. In order to be heard, you need to know your job well enough to discern how often to speak up, when not to speak up, what is most important in the big picture of both the edit and the hours in the day, and you also need to read the room. Reading the room is a term I learned in my stand-up comedy days, where you would watch and listen to the audience in front of you to decide what jokes to tell and how to deliver them if you wanted them to laugh. I mean, it's not an exact science, but a skill you can hone over time. If you're working with a director or actor who wants zero input from you, or one who needs extra support or requires you to approach them in a certain way at a certain time, read the room and adapt accordingly. Just because you know your job well, and listen, sometimes my students find themselves being the only ones on set who fully understand the axis of action or can edit in their heads, for example. That does not mean you go in and take over set like a bull in a china shop. You need to temper your knowledge and confidence with humility and grace, respecting the director and the DOP in their roles. To live in that sweet spot of confidence on set, a lot of what I teach in my program is about the importance of being proactive in the interview, in prep, and as you go through your day on set, so that you have the maximum chance for a successful working experience. There are so many things we can do along the way that saves us so much heartache later on, and I share all of them in my program and in our weekly live Q&As. And you can also be proactive in your career by training with a veteran to shorten your learning curve and get to the A-list jobs faster, going over several of the situations in programs like mine that you might find yourself in on set long before they happen to give you the best shot of surviving them with grace and confidence. There are multiple veterans who run fantastic training programs, and we all teach them from our own perspectives as script supervisors. In my case, the Director Whisperer training program was designed for script supervisors from 0 to 10 years and focuses heavily on our work with the director in troubleshooting coverage, but is also quite comprehensive on best practices in the minutiae of our paperwork, and also leans heavily into career strategy, as my goal since I began teaching nearly 30 years ago while ascending in my own career was to set up my students for success. Now I have a robust community of script supervision and directing students in 24 countries, and the community itself is a wonderful, living, breathing entity all its own, with Director Whisperers internationally networking and supporting each other beyond my communication with them in our alumni group and in our class group. So, if you're about to embark on a script supervision career or are in your first 10 years, consider joining me in my program and community. I will add the link below this video. Whether you join me or not, stay confident and always remember, you are a department head for a reason. There are people on set and in post and in the audience who are counting on you to do your best with the knowledge you have. So go forth and do great work. Ciao from Italy.